Remember all that media fear-mongering over Floridians heading to the beach? How dare they go to the beach? At least one liberal columnist ghoulishly tweeting, then deleting, that this was a good way to thin the ranks of Trump supporters. Nice people. Well, that turned out to be wrong, too. Two Florida counties that kept beaches open, Duval and Brevard, I always say that wrong, have only seen a fraction of the hospitalizations, and deaths were adjusted for population, and that's all it was. Well, of course, this isn't surprising, given the latest science that shows sunlight may be effective at killing COVID. Studies also show that viral transmission rarely occurs outdoors. And yesterday, Cuomo was forced to admit the real super spreader, well, people who were locked down.
66% of the people were at home, which is shocking to us. This is a surprise. Overwhelmingly, the people were at home. We thought maybe they were taking public transportation, and we've taken special precautions on public transportation, but actually no, because these people were literally at home.
So despite locking down later than New York and allowing their citizens a lot more freedom, Florida has yet to see the epidemic the experts all promised almost would come. Joining me now, I am so happy he's here, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, those dire predictions have not come true. So you guys obviously just must be lucky. It can't be any of the approaches you've taken along the way. Your thoughts?
Well, look, Laura, we really focused on where the greatest risk was, and that was to our elderly population, but particularly our elderly and long-term care facilities. So we acted very early to suspend visitation there, to make sure all the staff were screened before they went in there. We've required the wearing of PPE, but we've put our money where our mouth is for these facilities. We've now sent out 10 million masks just to long-term care facilities in the state of Florida. I also have 50 National Guard strike teams that go around to the nursing homes and do testing, and we just started doing, we have a mobile lab that has a rapid test lab on it, and so that's also going to nursing homes. You can get the results back in 45 minutes. And so that is where, if you look at the numbers, overwhelmingly, that's where the fatalities are occurring. People 65 and up, but really even 75 and up. In Florida, 60% of the deaths are 75 and up. So let's devote resources to help those folks who are the most vulnerable. We did that in Florida, and I think some of these other states we've seen did not do that. They took their eye off the ball.
Governor DeSantis, what have you discovered, if anything, about those spring breakers who were on the beach? There was endless commentary about how awful they were, and they were selfish, terrible, rotten people. Was there, or could you track any spike in the area or any increased transmission? What happened there?
Yeah, so we have virtually no evidence of any outdoor transmissions leading to outbreaks, be it a beach, be it a golf course, via fishing, anything that Florida is known for. The transmission has typically occurred in enclosed environments when you have repeated contact with someone, such as in the home. And so our policy was never to try to drive people indoors. If we had golf courses open, we did have a number of places that had beaches open. We encouraged fishing and running and all that stuff. And I think we wanted to take advantage of our climate. And so I was criticized for that. But I think if you look at the record, clearly you didn't see an outbreak. Everyone was so upset about Clearwater Beach. I grew up about 15 minutes from there in Pinellas County. But if you look at Pinellas County's numbers, they've had relatively few cases for having 1 million people. So a lot of this is narrative. A lot of that was based off partisanship in the media, but it has not been borne out in facts. And you mentioned Jacksonville beaches. They had a spasm in mid-April that Jacksonville was reopening beaches. But if you look since then, ICU admissions have fallen off a cliff. Hospital admissions down sharply. Ventilator use down sharply. We're 3 weeks later. If this was going to lead to the apocalypse, why are we seeing all the indicators go down instead of up?
Yeah, well, this is how Governor Cuomo is responding to concerns about the economy. Watch.
This is not a situation where you can go to the American people and say, okay, how many lives are you willing to lose to reopen the economy? We don't want to lose any lives. And you start to hear these, to me, what are absurd arguments.
Governor, your response, you're either callous or you just want to keep people shut in.
Well, what I would say is focus on where the risk is. We've done that in Florida with what we've done with long-term care facilities. That does not require the economy to be shut down at all. You either do it or you don't. Obviously, a lot of those states that have had way worse outcomes than Florida, they did a harsh shutdown, but they didn't do things to protect the long-term care facilities. In fact, some of them were forcing sick seniors to go in there, and that was infecting other people. So I think it's a false choice. I think you absolutely can do both.
And I hope all the beaches are open soon in Florida. People need to be outside and enjoying the outdoors and enjoying the beautiful state of Florida. Governor, we wish you all the best. I mean, the country's suffering and the economy is suffering.